It is finally here, and I'm pleased to bring to you the brand new IXSR remote from Spectrum and Horizon Hobby. It is pricey, it is expensive, it's probably not a good fit for everybody, so you're gonna have to make that call. But for me, I was in a situation where I needed to add another remote because I was out of model memory. So I weighed in pros and cons. Do I keep having several remotes, or do I just try to keep everything consolidated in one? So for me, it was worth the money. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you that this does a lot more than what I even understand or can even use, but I tell you what, I can definitely appreciate a lot of the features that this remote has. So we're going to go ahead and show you how some of the customization that this remote can have and the features and how to set up a car with this brand new remote. That's the good stuff. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. That's right, I bit the bullet, went ahead and got the brand new IXSR, and I tell you what, man, so far it feels like a really nice remote. It feels really well built in the hand. It is a little bit on the heavy side, I'll give it that. A little heavier than what I'm used to, but man, when you feel like how smooth the steering and the throttle is, you can see where the money went. And things that you don't see is like the steering and throttle. These are Hall effect sensors. No more potentiometer. Variable resistors, you know, they'll wear out through time and they can create like high and low spots, like little glitches. So as that wears out, maybe you're turning and you kind of hit a dead spot and the car doesn't know what to do. It acts kind of funny. It's because all that wears out. The Hall effect, from what I understand, shouldn't wear out. It's a more precision, more precise system. The transmit receive time should be faster for the car to respond. So if you're looking for a better response time, you know, especially for racers, that's going to be really critical. And that's what they did with this remote. They built it to fit several different needs in the RC community, from your racers, you know, dirt tracks, indoor stuff, to crawlers, drag racers, bashers. A variety of different things are built into this remote to help all sorts of niches in the hobby. So let's just go over a few of the key things here. Key features: Android Power touchscreen right here, 4.5-inch color screen, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi compatible, 12 switches and knob options for programming and that. So you have a knob switch here, you got switches here and down the side of the remote here. It is a USB-C charge right here in the front, and we also have an SD card up here in the front as well. Accent lights, so 19 user colors right here. Also in the screen, you can change the colors of the screen. This comes by default as that Spectrum orange. I changed it to blue because I like blue. So not only here on the side, you can also change the screen colors as well. So AVC and MX6, with AVCs, you know, the stability control technology. MS6X is your actually like LOSI Pro Moto, the motorcycle protocol. So this is supposed to be able to work the LOSI Pro Moto. So I will bind mine up, and we're going to do another video. I'm going to do the Pro Moto, the Laser Nut, and a boat. Run all three on this remote, and I'll give you a review on how I feel this remote works those three vehicles. So we're going to have more coming up with this. 250 model memory, customizable model setup, audio and vibration alerts, drag race launch control. I'll tell you, this remote has a lot of features. And we'll start off with how you can customize this to fit how you want the remote to feel in your hand. So first off, right here behind this cover, you can actually pivot this, I believe. Let's go ahead and open this thing up here real quick. So you can see here, behind the cover, you can see these slots, so you can loosen these screws and pivot this controller here to make this how you want it to feel. Bring it closer or swing it out more, depending on how you want that to feel. This can also go left hand or right hand. The knob and this can be put over to here, and they give you the covers to fill in. So once you remove this, these covers will go in place. Everything's here, and you also already have your buttons in place here, if you guys can see that. So buttons on both sides of the transmitter here. So now it says it has a 5-degree adapter to pivot the steering wheel. So there's 2 adapters in here, so I'm not sure if one is 5 degrees or one is greater or less than. Maybe this is 5. I don't know, but they give you actually 2, so I'm not 100% sure because it only says a 5-degree adapter in there. And then you have a 32-degree steering limiter piece right here, so I'm not sure if it gives you less or more steering than what's already in here, but you have that to customize. And then this is really interesting, this isn't even advertised on here. You have these trigger adapters right here, which actually are a bit thicker than what's already on here. So if you look, there's a screw right there, and these go right here, and that'll tighten up that gap in there. So if this is too much and you want a really precise feel in there, you can add these and that tightens that up. So there's some extra screws here. I'm not 100% sure what that's for. Maybe it's for the adapter. When you put the adapter in, yeah, I think that's what it's for. When you put the adapter in here, you need the longer screws. And then there's 2 springs in here. So there's a stiffer steering wheel spring, and then there's a softer throttle spring that are here. I believe that's what those 2 springs are. I'm not 100%. It doesn't really say in the manual. So this is where kind of like I don't really have a lot of experience doing this shows, because I don't know how those springs work in here. And then you get a slightly smaller steering wheel. Now continuing on, right here you have a screw that adjusts the tension of the throttle, and then right here we have a screw that adjusts the tension of that. And then here beneath this cover is where your SD card is, and then there's another screw which will actually move the trigger forward or backwards to customize that. So right here we can, so there is a lot of customizing you can do with this remote to just have it fit in your hands the way you really want it to. Check it out too. Got cool little Spectrum logo that when you're charging, this actually turns blue. Oh, that's another thing here. We got the USB cable. This is really, it feels like a really nice cable, really like a nice braided kind of thing. And this piece here is magnetic, and this is a removable tip. So what I'm thinking is, because when you plug this into the remote and you try to take that off, it stays. So I think that's the game plan that Spectrum had, that just stays in the remote, and then you can just quick charge the remote there. And then also in the box you get a SR515 5-channel basic receiver. Nothing really special, no AVC, but it is a receiver. Oh. And one last customizable piece is the rubber grip. This is the original grip. It's a bit smaller than the one that's on here, as you can see. So this, you know, I have larger hands. I put this on there. To me, this just makes everything feel a little bit better than that. So like I said, a lot of ways to customize this remote to feel really good in your hands. All right, so let's go into some of the features on here. And unfortunately, I wanted to do an unboxing, but you have to have a card bound to this to show you all the features. So, and I really didn't know how this thing works, so I kind of had to take it out, get used to it to show you how everything here works. So here's the main screen. You have 3 timers that you can select. So you can either have it count down, count up, however you want to customize that. Next here is setup. So this is the screen where you're going to probably spend most of your time doing everything. So here under steering, you have your endpoints that you could set up, and even right here is a monitor that shows you how far everything's turning. So this actually works out good, because when you're setting your endpoints, you can turn it and see where does it stop. Like for here, 80%. So that was allowed me to set that to 80%. because I knew where the travel stopped. You got your sub trim. Here's like reverse, that's normal. Reverse, for me, I had to reverse the servo on the laser nut to get it to work right. We also have exponential here, so if you want to slow down or speed up your steering, you can do that as well. And here's something interesting too, steering speed. So if you have an overly sensitive servo, you can slow down. Now watch when I turn this thing to 100%. See how fast that is? So if I slow this down to like 50, hear how it slows it down. I like that. It's a really nice feature. And then your steering rate to 100%. There's also an on-the-fly button. So I know like a lot of the speed runners, what we'll do is we'll take the dual rate down to where maybe 20%, so that way when you turn the wheel it's not very sensitive. But then when you get to the end of the road and you got to turn around, you can't turn around, it's tight. So what you can do is, like here, you can hit button F and override. So say that you just have this at 20% and you need to turn around, you could push a button that'll override that, and now you have 100% of your steering. So whatever feature that you do that you want to cut back, and if you need to override it, you had that feature, and it's available on several different options in here. So here's your trim steps. You can adjust like every time you hit the trim button how many steps it does. So a lot of features here. Throttle is pretty much the same exact as the steering. You can reverse, sub trim. You got your exponential you can add. So here's something that's unique is traction control. So from what I gathered when I read is that basically it'll pulse the motor or something to help keep the traction going. Same thing with anti-lock. You have engagement points, so 50% of the throttle, pulse width. It'll pulse the motor to try to keep the tires from locking up. Servo speed. Now this might sound weird for a throttle, but don't forget if you're running gas, you're going to have a throttle, a servo that works that. So for a gas vehicle, that would come in handy. And your trim. So a lot of stuff that you could do with this remote. So alerts here, these are for your timers. So timer 1, 2, 3. You can have voice or haptic feedback, vibration. Audio reports. So I guess you could set this up as some kind of report. I'm not even really quite sure what all you can do with that. Here's also warnings. So you can set up a warning for low voltage, and it could be voice or vibrate. You can also set it up for if you're going over RPM, temperatures, your receiver voltage, pack voltage, current. You can set up warnings, and you can either, like I said, have it a voice alert or a vibration alert. You can set all these things up. Really cool stuff that you can do here. So binding, this is just to go ahead and bind the car to the remote. Driving mode, so I'm not 100% sure on this. I'm thinking for like maybe drag racing, racers, crawlers, maybe you'll have different ways of setting something up, so you can set up each drive mode for that. Really not 100% sure how to set that up. Launch control, so for drag racing this is pretty cool. So you have a start button, boost, a curve selector, all these different things. So from my understanding, like you can hold the throttle all the way back, hold a button and let go of the button, and based on your settings here, like your launch curve, it'll launch the car and the computer will kind of take care of everything. So here's your lighting. The light bars are on. Here's your color palette that you can select everything from. And then, oh, so the flashlight. So we do have a flashlight here in the front. I'm not 100% sure to point. It's not very bright. It's not the brightest thing in the world, but it is there if you do need it for whatever reason. Mappings. So this will tell you what all the buttons, like A is for throttle trim, B is steering trim. So whatever you set these buttons up to do, it'll tell you right here. So this is where you can see where how everything's set up. So mixes, I saw one video where the guy had set up as kind of like an FPV setup. So he had a second servo, so basically almost like two steering servos. So when you turn the wheel, it would also turn the camera. So that was kind of a mix he had set up to have two things working on one control. So I think like crawlers and that use that a lot, maybe. So when they turn, the steering all works the same. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, this does a lot more than what I'm used to. So sleep mode, the Bluetooth. I don't know why wouldn't we put Bluetooth to sleep, but screen and Spectrum RF can go to sleep. So telemetry, there's a whole nother screen that we could set up here if you want to see the telemetry and all that stuff. So this is where you would set that up. And then telemetry gauges. Oh, this is where you set up, you can see all the telemetry gauges. You would see those panels. So I misspoke there a little bit. So telemetry, this right here, we already have a setup receiver. Everything's displayed. And this is where I have to have the car turned on to get all that set up as to what the smart technology will allow me to show you. So there's your timers. You can set it up to count up, count down, repeat. You can set up the time right here and what button starts and stops the timer. And then here is the firmware programming. So to enter menu, left steer. It might not work because I don't have 100% steer, but it just kind of shows you what the basic ESC settings are. There's nothing you can really do there. So monitor, so right here we got our steering curve. I can't do throttle because that thing will take off. Here's our basic telemetry. We have the ESC temperature and the pack voltages. And here's where things really start getting interesting. So temperature, here's our batteries, two batteries, 60 and 50%, 23.2 volts, and you know our ESC is at 97 degrees. Now check this out, smart battery, 11.7, 11.5 volts. One battery is a little bit older than the other one, so cycles there, look at that, 42 cycles, 91 cycles on this. So here's our battery 1, cell count, battery 2. So a lot of really cool stuff in here. Oh, I forgot too. Here are your stats for the run. Minimums and maximums. So mile per hour, temperature. So if you weren't paying attention, you want to see how hot things got, you can go back here to this menu and see like what the stuff was. Really cool stuff that this remote can do. So okay, so setup. No, that's not it. Oh, right here. So model setup. We don't want to do that. Well, I guess we can. This is going to be the same thing. So model setup. You type in your name here. Next, you're going to tell it what receiver you have. So there's a whole list of different receivers here. This one happens to have the 315. So we hit next. You want to tell it, if you have a smart Spectrum receiver, click external telemetry capable, so that way you can read the smart telemetry that's in there. Okay, so it is electric. This is where you select that. No reverse. We do have reverse capable in here. So like for my, no, even my boat is reverse. So single motor, so versus front and rear. So this is where you set also up single steering or dual steering. Additional features, this is where you would set up, like, I guess if you have winches and things like that, or whatever, or maybe light systems, this is where you'd program that. We don't have any of that here. So there we have it, finished, done. Now you can go over here, click this. Oh, it changed the color on me again. Look at that. So right here, we click the logo. We can go edit. If you notice that that's a photo, that's my photo. So what we can do is we can edit that and go import from SD card. And that's where I have my images. Now I had to create a folder. I kept getting a security warning. So what I did is I created a folder, folder A, and put my images into there. So that allowed me to go ahead and download it to here, the remote, and now I have my own images right there. So we can go back here to edit the color right here. We can change. This is where you change the color of the screen that you want. So now see that everything is blue. Before everything was orange. Like I said, it's pretty cool. You can upload your own photo. So if you want to have your own photo, you can do that right there. So whew, I hope I got through to everything. I said pretty easy to go ahead and set up a car. And like I said, you can set up, I don't have it here on that one screen, the over here on setup. You can go telemetry gauges, you can add a panel, and you have this kind of layout, and then you can add all the different things that you want to and have a gauge panel. To me, I have so many cars, I'm not gonna go through all of that. See, so now I got gauge panel number 1. I need to kind of go back in, delete that. But so much stuff that you can. Oh, so right there I just disabled that because I don't want to have that. But I mean, that is pretty cool that I can pull up my battery and that, and that is kind of weird. Why don't we have a voltage right there? So here it is. I had to rebind the car for everything to work properly, but here we got 60 and 40 on the batteries. I know I'm not running a car, I just grabbed them off the shelf. But so look at that, smart batteries. We got the milliamp hours, 4291 cycles in each one. And like I said, the ESC, here we got our voltage. Pretty cool stuff. That is remote. Like I said, oh, before I'm sorry. There is a left and right button here, but for the light, I cannot find what any of this does. And here's your power on and off button, and you have a thing here to add a lanyard. So now I think I got everything that I need to talk about on the remote. Oh, look at that, I got to change the light. So we can do that here, lights. So we can see right here, look at that, it's that color. I kind of like a teal. Save. And now we have that color there. So really easy to use, especially just, you know, you gotta play around with the remote and get used to everything, and you'll get to figure out it's not that bad. But so far I'm really liking it. Like I said, I'm gonna bind it to the Pro Moto, a boat, and a car, take it out and run it. That'll be in another video, but hopefully I covered any questions or things that you had on it. Like I said, I'm sorry I'm not like a total expert on everything these high-tech remotes can do, but hopefully I think I got enough of it down for you to help you out. Maybe make a decision if this remote is right for you or if you're interested in it. So I am looking forward to using this and getting a lot of miles out of it. Be something that I can actually see in the sun and have all that beautiful telemetry I can look at. So everyone, I appreciate the support. Thank you for watching. Hope you got some good information out of this thing, and you'll join us for more RC vehicle adventures, honest reviews, things like that. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next one.